let's talk about another important concept, that is method overriding. So a subclass can declare a method with the same return type and same signature as an inherited method. In that case, we say the subclass method overrides the inherited superclass method. When an overridden method is called from within a subclass, it will always refer to the version defined by that subclass. So the superclass version is hidden. Here's an example. So we have an class 1 dim point that has a method integer get x and will return x, current x. And we also have a 2 dim point that extends 1 dim point. So here we have a method called getX, same name, same signature, same return type, which will also return x. So over here we say that this getX overrides the super getX. So we used in a demo class, we can see that a 2 dim point PT, and if we call PT.getX, what we refer to is we refer to the subclass getX method, ignoring the super getX. And so another important thing that's dynamic method dispatch. If a variable of a superclass type refers to a subclass object, an overridden method is called. The subclass version is executed. So here's the example, same example. Except this time, if you see that we have a 1 dim point object pt1 that is a new 2 dim point, and 1 dim point pt2 that is 1 dim point. So here, if we call pt1.getX, that is 2 dim point, which will print 4, and if we say pt2.getX, will refer to the super getX, which will print 3. In this case, we say that so the version to be executed is chosen at runtime. So we're not really sure which one to call unless is with this the Java decides us in runtime. So we're going to explore the idea of method overriding. So first, um, remember in our triangle we had a method called area, which will return width times height divided by 2, which is the area of triangle. However, let's have the same method here in the shape class as well, where we're going to assume that the shape is a rectangle by default. Okay. However, when the area of triangle will override that with a new definition of what the area should look like. Okay. So, and if we call if we have a T1, which is a new triangle, if we call T1.area, it will call the subclass version of area, and then it will not call the superclass version of it. Okay. However, if we have a shape, let's say we have a shape let's call it R1 as rectangle 1, it will be a new shape, and then since this is a shape, we don't have to have an outline. All we have to do is 4 and 5 as the dimensions. So I'm going to print the information for R1. Okay, info for R1. Show dim will work. Show style will not work. And R1 area should work as well. Okay, so let's see. Run this. Okay, so T1 width, height, style is filled, area is 10. For T1, for R1, width 4, height is 5, area is 20, as you can see. Okay, so that's how we could do method overriding. So do we have to, here's a question, do we have to overwrite the area in color triangle? And the answer is no, because the way we calculate the area for triangle and color triangle should be exactly the same. So we don't expect any difference on that. So anytime if we have a color triangle and we call the area, it should call the super area. Okay. Another example could be we can have another class called circle. Circle is also a shape, so it does extend the shape. And okay, the only difference in that is that the circle doesn't have a width and height, it has a radius. So what we can do is we can completely ignore that we have those two, and then, or we can even use one of them as radius, but we can also go ahead and create our own double radius. Okay, so one constructor, we can have circle with no arguments, and then that means radius would be 0. We can have circle with one argument, double r, which will then be radius is r. Okay, well, it will still call the no argument and one argument constructors here. We'll just set them to 0, and yeah. So let's see. I'm gonna redefine the area. So double area, which will return, okay, turn. So it'll return the for simplicity, I'm gonna use 3.14 for pi number times radius times radius. Okay, so likewise, if we create a circle that we could call the circle dot area, will calculate the area in this way without calling the super area. Okay, so let's move on.